Hello and welcome to Shimba channel. I'm a Japanese native and beginner English learner. In Japan, almost everyone who works is covered by employment insurance. Today, I'll share how it works and what kind of benefits it provides. Like in many other countries, Japan also has an employment insurance system. It's designed to support people when they lose their jobs, when they want to improve their skills, or when they need to take time off for childcare or nursing care. If you're a full-time employee or even a part-time worker who gets a paycheck, you're usually enrolled automatically. The insurance fee is deducted straight from your salary. The cost is shared between the worker and the company. Workers pay about 0.6% of their monthly salary, while the company covers a bit more. So if you make around 200,000 yen a month, your share is only about 1,200 yen. It's not a big amount, but when you face unemployment or need childcare leave, it can make a huge difference. Most people don't think much about it. Just like, oh, something is taken out of my paycheck again. Even Japanese people often don't know the details until they actually need to use it. I wasn't very familiar myself, so I looked into it while preparing this video. Let me walk you through some of the main benefits. The easiest part to imagine is employment benefits. This system gives you a portion of your salary for a certain period while you are looking for next job. The amount is about 50 to 80% of your previous wage. There's also a minimum and maximum, so you don't end up getting way too much or way too little. I don't know if this amount is high compared to other countries, but in Japan it feels kind of average. In big cities like Tokyo, with expensive rent, it might be tough. But in smaller towns, where rent is cheaper, living on it seems doable. Of course, if you're supporting kids or a spouse, things can get tight, so it really depends on family circumstances. The number of days you can receive benefits also depends on your age and how long you worked. For example, if you are in your 20s with 3 years of service, it's about 90 days, that's 3 months. If you are in your 40s with more than 10 years of service, it can be up to 240 days, around 8 months. 3 months feels pretty short if you're job hunting, but 8 months gives you a lot more breathing room. There is also a difference between voluntary resignation and being laid off. If you are laid off or the company goes bankrupt, you can receive benefits right away. But if you quit on your own, you usually have to wait over a month before payments start. I once changed jobs and had a 3-month gap before starting the next one. Since I already had a new job lined up, I wasn't eligible for unemployment benefits, so I just lived 3 months with no income. It was nice to have all that time off, but I still had to pay for health insurance, pension, rent, and daily expenses. If it had gone on longer, it would have been really tough. How about in your country? What kind of unemployment benefit do you have? Let me know in the comments. Another part of employment insurance is education and training benefit. This system supports people who want to level up their skills or change careers. If you take courses approved by the government, 20 to 70% of tuition fee is reimbursed, depending on the type of course. I looked it up, and there are about 15,000 approved courses, divided into roughly 3 categories. Honestly, it's way too many for me to keep track of. But the range is huge, from English test prep like TOEIC, to childcare, nutritionist, tax accountant, and other national licenses. So if you're considering a course, the first thing is to check if it's covered. I once got a certification in statistics and machine learning. The exam required completing an approved IT course, so I thought I could use this system. But at that time, I had been working for less than 2 years, so I didn't meet the eligibility conditions. I had to pay the full amount of out-of-pocket, which was pretty painful. Since then, I haven't had a chance to use this system. The support only applies when you take official courses, not if you study on your own. And the courses can still be expensive even with partial support. So unless I have a really strong motivation, it's not something I'd personally choose. By the way, in Japan, getting certification is pretty common. Depending on the job, they can even be valued during job changes. For example, I work in IT. Just within IT, there are more than 10 different national exams at different levels. The exams fee are fairly cheap, so lots of people take them. Some companies even reimburse the exam fee or give bonuses when you pass, so employees are encouraged to take them. I have a few certifications myself, but I got them years ago and honestly don't remember much. And in IT, actual work experience tends to matter more than certificates. So I can't say I've felt a big benefit from them. Employment insurance isn't just for unemployment, it also helps with childcare and nursing leave. For childcare, Japanese law allows you to take leave if you have a child under 1 year old, and companies can't refuse. If you can't get daycare, you can extend the leave up to 2 years. Of course, you don't get a salary from your company during this time. But that's where employment insurance comes in. For the first 6 months, you get 67% of your salary, and after that, 50%. This applies to both fathers and mothers. So if both parents work, each can receive benefits, which usually makes family finances manageable. At my company, most people take childcare leave. In the past, men found it harder, but these days more men are taking it, and society seems to encourage it too. This trend is especially strong among younger generations. From what I've seen, women often take 1 to 2 years, while men usually take 2 to 3 months before returning to work. It probably depends on company's culture, workload, and worries about career and income. But if I ever take childcare leave, I definitely want to take a full year. How about in your country? What kind of support is available for childcare? Is it similar to Japan? Please share in the comments. Today, I introduced Japan's employment insurance. Thanks to this system, people in Japan can work, change jobs, or take leave with more security. It's one of the key parts of Japan's social safety net, helping support everyday life in different situations. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions, or if you'd like to share how employment insurance works in your country, please leave a comment below. Your feedback really helps me improve, not only in making videos but also in learning English. See you next time.